Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Memorial Field in Concord, New Hampshire. We are bringing you Division I girls tennis action here today on Concord Community TV as the Astros of Pinkerton Academy have made the journey north to the capital city to tangle with the Crimson Tide of Concord High in what will be the final regular season match for both teams. Pinkerton comes in today with a record of 8-5, preparing to host a first-round playoff match next week, while a young Crimson Tide team will be looking to end its season in style with its second win of the spring. I'm Dave Page, joined by cameraman Jake Dusso, and a special guest analyst today, a key figure in the New Hampshire tennis community, Jeffrey Siegel. And Jeff, Pinkerton and Concord may come into this match at opposite ends of the standings, but as we all know, we can throw the records out the window in that regular season finale. Everybody wants to finish strong.
That's right, Dave. And before we talk anymore, I want to thank you for inviting me here to these newly dedicated Harvey Smith courts. Harvey Smith was a long time Concord coach at several schools and has a very, very winning record as a high school coach.
Absolutely. Well, Concord High, coming into today's match, we'll be looking to pull a big upset here. And Jeff, I've always felt that as an underdog, you really want to get off to a good start.
Yeah, there are some keys to that, Dave, especially if you are looked at as the underdog. You want to come out and you want to play tennis within yourself. You don't want to try and do things that you don't normally do. The pressure is going to be on the other team. They're expected to win. The more balls that you can get back over the net, more pressure that puts on that other team.
And when you keep that match close into the late stages, the pressure really shifts to the supposed favorite.
They call scoreboard pressure when it's 3-3, 4-4 going into a match. It does put some pressure on the favorite to keep winning, and there might be some frustration there when they are not breaking their opponent. Concord, it's play within yourself. Do what you do well. Don't try and do things that are just out of reach.
All right, well, that'll do it for our preview, and we will be back with the introductions and senior ceremony shortly. All right, we are ready for action at the Harvey Smith Tennis Courts at Memorial Field following a beautiful ceremony in which the lineups were introduced and the seniors for Concord were recognized, that being Vanessa Rice and Catherine Tewksbury. Nice flowers from Coach Greg Millette as a token of recognition for all they've done for the program over the years. And we are underway on the number one singles court on the left of your screen, everybody. Nadia Hanna Jr. at the far end representing Concord High against Pinkerton's Amelia Coyle. We also have coverage of Court 2, where Concord Jr. Maddie Mickelson is facing Pinkerton Jr. Mia Rivard. So we'll be bringing you both of these matches with periodic updates from the lower courts. That's a nicely placed return to serve by Amelia Coyle, and that gives her what appears to be a break of serve in the opening game, picking it up 1-love.
Pinkerton seems to be handling the swirling winds here at Memorial Field well. It is a tough place to play tennis if you're not used to wind, and certainly the Concord players should be. Right now they're off to a slow start.
Well, the wind, Jeff, as you said, is always blowing at Memorial Field, and currently it is blowing from the near part of your screen to the far edge by the softball diamond. So, but that could shift at any moment, and players from both teams need to be aware of that. Maddie Mickelson with a second serve, and Pinkerton player Rivard puts the return a little bit long on the number 2 court. A nice rally there, and ends with the backhand falling a little short.
Dave, our listeners might be hearing the Star Spangled Banner in the background. As you know from traveling around the state to high school athletic sports arenas and different venues, you're aware that Memorial Field is one of the best places in the state for high school athletics. When this place is busy, it is just fantastic. You can have softball, baseball, a track match, tennis, all going on. Nowhere else in the state is it like this.
Yeah, if you're a sports fan in the capital area, there's no place better to stop by on a nice day and see all kinds of athletic competition in one venue. Good serve there from the Astro player Rivard. Catches Mickelson off guard, and the forehand goes astray.
Got it right into her body.
So Pinkerton leading 1-love and serving on each of the first 2 singles courts. We'll quickly go through the other matchups on court 3. Sarah Salim Jr. for the Crimson Tide is facing Pinkerton senior Sophia Kander. Court 4, Vanessa Rice, one of Concord's 2 seniors, facing another senior, Pinkerton's Bridget Gorey. And on court 5 on the far end near the Little League diamond, Catherine Tewksbury of Concord, senior, facing Pinkerton senior Gianna Ganin. And court 6 across the way, Concord's Malia Moffat and Pinkerton's Gabby Chouinard are locking horns, along with several exhibition matches on the far side as well.
Taking that a little wide on court 2 for a double fault.
Concord's Maddie Mickelson serving to Pinkerton's Mia Rivard. Mickelson at the far end, an excellent athlete, played a lot of competitive volleyball throughout her time, and played number 2 last year for Concord High as well, and now in her second year in the top 6. Nice deep backhand there, but just carries a little bit long.
A little bit.
Meanwhile, on court 1, Amelia Coyle just unloaded on a second serve that was a little bit short and hit a powerful cross-court winner. Goes for a lot again on that return, and this time pushes it wide at the Windy Memorial Field complex.
It's a nice rally on court 1.
Both players with very nice flat strokes there, keeping the ball low and minimizing the effect of the wind. Maddie Mickelson caught in no man's land there, and
had a great serve and followed it in, just couldn't do enough with it.
So we are switching sides on both courts 1 and 2 now. Pinkerton up 3-love on court 1, and we'll see the count on court 2.
I think it's also 3-love. As our listeners know, we switch sides on odd games in tennis.
And we play 8-game sets here, as opposed to the 6-game sets popular in the professional ranks. So Concord High will have a little more time to come back in these sets.
Right, one set to 8.
So back in action on both courts 1 and 2. Coyle serving to Hannah on court 1. Rivard to Mickelson on court 2. Maddie Mickelson with a nice ground stroke there.
Yeah, good point.
Nice deep serve there. Tough to do much with that. Again, a big serve from Rivard. And looks like a hold for the Astro as Pinkerton leading 4-love on court 2. Meanwhile, Coyle serving into the sun, never an easy task. And misses the first serve. Nice loose motion there, though.
There have been a lot of close points on court 2, although the score doesn't reflect that. These girls have been exchanging some good ground strokes, coming to net, and the Pinkerton player has just gotten the best of most of those points.
Maddie Mickelson, a very good athlete, really moving her feet well, and certainly no quit in her.
You can see the volleyball player in her when she serves. Nice athleticism. Comes in after.
Always difficult tracking a lob into the sun, Jeff.
Into the sun, and with that wind, it just wreaks havoc.
Wind has shifted a little bit, now blowing pretty strongly from left to right on your TV screen. Meanwhile, on court 1, a long service game on the racket of Amelia Coyle, and she may have just held. So that will put Pinkerton up 4-love, and Rivard on court 2 leading 5-love as they change sides. Hannah preparing to serve on court 1 from the far end. Ever so slightly wide with the first delivery. And draws an unforced error there.
Dave, until you've played in strong winds like this, it's impossible to realize how difficult it is. Tracking the ball, it just shifts on you, moves on you, it gets carried, it gets knocked down. There are so many adjustments you have to make, and today it seems like it's not a consistent wind from one direction. The only consistent thing about it is it's been blowing pretty hard.
As a former baseball player, Jeff, you might almost liken it to hitting a knuckleball on every pitch.
Just about. And I could never hit a knuckleball. Made me look foolish.
That's a good deep ground stroke from Maddie Mickelson, and forces an error from Rivard of Pinkerton on court 2. Meanwhile, Hannah just a little bit long on court 1.
nice volley at the net on court 1 there.
Hannah with some real nice defense there, scrambling, a couple real well-struck passing shots, and Coyle happened to have the answers though up at the net. Hannah gets that point right back though.
She does. Coyle just overcooked that return. And Concord, I think, gets its first game.
Concord's on the scoreboard here, everybody. 4-1. Hannah with some very strong play at the baseline, moving her feet well, and she gives the Crimson Tide their first game of the day. Nicholson serving at love 5. Sarah Salim on court 3, currently down 3-love, as is Vanessa Rice on court 4. Catherine Tewksbury on court 5. I think, is that a 1?
1.
Down 1-love, so must be some long points there. Malia Moffat on court 6 has dropped the first 3 games.
The Astro player is coming off the court from court 5.
That may have been a 7 and not a 1.
It could be.
Though we stand corrected. Pinkerton Academy with its first team point of the day. The Astros lead 1-love in the overall score.
New Hampshire High School Tennis plays 6 courts of singles and 3 courts of doubles for a total of 9 courts. Unlike some of our neighboring states, the same people can play both singles and doubles. Oftentimes a coach will substitute if they've got 5 points coming out of the singles and play some of the lower ranked players and give them an opportunity for varsity play.
Good chance to build some depth. Boy, Hannah with a very nice forehand deserved a better fate as Coyle's reply dropped just over the net in a difficult position, and the Astro player wins a long rally there. Coyle with a big first serve there. Hannah's reply is blown right by the wind.
Oh, nice shot. Nice deep shot on court 2.
Great shot by Maddie Mickelson. Gives a thumbs up to all the fans in attendance here at Memorial Field. And wisely catches an errant toss. Good first serve there. Gets a short ball. And hung up her approach shot just a bit too much. Set up the point nicely though. On court 1, Hannah and Coyle trading big ground strokes. Number 1 court often features the strong technical play, and this match is no exception. Both players put some heat on those ground strokes.
Most often those players on the number 1 court are year-round tennis players, so in our neck of the woods they're inside for the winter.
Well, Coyle has built a strong winning pattern by dictating play with a cross-court return of serve into the open area.
She is punishing any short serve.
Hannah tries to surprise Coyle with the underhand serve, but Amelia was unfazed and ends up winning that rally. Maddie Mickelson on court 2 with a powerful forehand opened up the court, but Rivard of Pinkerton replied nicely with a deep backhand and drew the error.
Hannah not afraid to try a lot of different options. She's come to net. She's made some nice volleys. The points have been much closer than the score would indicate.
And once again here, a number of hard-fought points, but 2 games to the Astros as they switch sides. Coyle up 6-1 against Hannah, and Maddie Mickelson has finished her match now as Mia Rivard, a very steady player at the number 2 position for Pinkerton, has blanked her. Maddie, always friendly and sportsmanlike, still leaving the court with a smile on her face though, so big props to her.
Looks like the closest match is out on court 6, where it's Concord serving 2-3.
Looks like 2-3, so a marathon match down there. And on the team scoreboard now, Pinkerton Academy leading 2-0. So with 4 singles matches remaining to be completed, and then the 3 doubles will follow.
Some nice play going on court 3.
Concord Sarah Salim trading big forehands with Sophia Kander of Pinkerton. Score at the last changeover was 3-love for Pinkerton. Pinkerton also leading 5-love on court 4, and as Jeff mentioned, leading 3-2 on court 6. Sarah Salim on court 3 has now gone down love 5, but again, those were some hard-fought points. Certainly looked like they could have gone either way, Jeff. Back in action on court 1. Coyle leading 6-1. And a good deep second serve. And on the run, hits a crackling forehand cross-court winner.
It's not an easy shot to control. Dead run. Ball's barely off the ground.
That's a real nice first serve. Hannah gets it back well.
Good first serve, good return.
And the forehand ultimately floats long from the Crimson Tide player. Meanwhile, we see at the bottom of our screen Crimson Tide coach Greg Millett advising Sarah Salim on her changeover. It's always a good sign, Jeff, when your player's down and they want to come to the fence.
For sure. And as a former coach in a situation like this, what are some of the things that you're talking about with that player?
I think if you see something technical that they're doing, you want to point it out, but probably minimize it to just 1 or 2 points. And you really want to convince them not to try to get a big deficit back all at once. Sometimes people try to play in ways they're not capable of, and you just really have to build it point by point and fight your way back. Tennis is not like other sports where you can run out the clock, so sometimes you'll see some big rallies if people just come with the right habits.
So true, Dave.
Coyle continuing her service game here on court 1 on the left of your screen. That's a beautiful return from Hannah, but Coyle counters well, poking it into the open court. That's a dangerous forehand, Jeff.
That is. She is demonstrating a serve +1. So the return comes back off a good serve, and then the server is putting away that next shot. And she is skilled. Hannah not giving up, though.
Hannah fighting hard. Another good serve from Coyle, and
that's one of the best girls' high school tennis serves that I've seen in a long time.
Could almost use that on an instructional video, Jeff. Just a nice smooth motion.
Yep.
Stays relaxed with her arm and wrist. And that's a hold to serve. Puts her up 7-1. Hannah down 1-7 now. Nice deep serve. And anticipates that cross-court return well this time. And a winning backhand passing shot.
Nice.
Good sequence there from Nadia on court 1.
Court 6 still on serve. Concord serving 3-4.
And Vanessa Rice has come off of court 4. Getting the short end of an 8-love decision, but stayed out there for quite some time, meaning the points were likely closely contested. Hannah stays in the point again and draws the error. I believe she's up 30-love now. Good chance to double her game total here. So serving to the backhand, probably a good idea given the potency of Coyle's forehand.
Another underhand serve.
And nice slice backhand from the Astro player there. Slice backhand tough to handle in windy conditions, and Hannah scrambling but not quite able to return it. 30-15 now. Oh, hits the baseline. And nice touch there on the drop volley, and 40-15. Draws the error again. That goes deep into the service box. 40-30 now. Short ball there. Hannah had the point where she wanted it, and
back to deuce.
Narrowly missed the forehand. That's a great scramble there, going from side to side, but just poked that long. And match point now for the Astros. Add out. Tennis serve a little short. Goes up nicely to the backhand and a beautiful put away at the net.
Volley.
Well done. Nice one-hand backhand volley winner. And ending the match in style is Amelia Coyle of Pinkerton as she captures an 8-1 decision over Concord's Nadia Hanna.
That would be the 4th point for the Pinkerton Astros.
Crimson Tide yet to record a point, but Hanna did really impress me with her tenacity and movement.
It was a tough matchup for her, but she certainly did not fold.
So now we are going to go to some bonus coverage here of the number 3 singles match. Concord's Sarah Salim facing off against Pinkerton's Sophia Kander. And it looks like they're about to switch sides.
And I think Concord got its first game.
Sarah Salim on the scoreboard as she pulls to within 1-6 of her Pinkerton opponent. Sarah Salim's mom is a competitive tennis player, but Sarah herself is new to the sport. Only took it up this winter with some lessons at the Capital City Sports and Fitness facility. So she has a dance background, so I'm sure we'll see some good footwork out on the court from her, Jeff.
I've been keeping an eye on this court 3, and these girls have been battling. They've had some long points, some close games.
One of only 2 singles matches still on the court here at Memorial Field. Salim really leans into that forehand well, but then pokes it back in just a tad long. 15-love.
Second serve.
Salim reaches that volley nicely, but
doesn't do enough with it, but forces the backhand cross-court pass.
always want to force your opponent to hit one more ball.
Absolutely.
Sarah did that, but the Astro player was up to the task. 30-love now. Salim gets a short second serve and takes the offense there, but drifts a little bit wide with the wind behind it.
Very aggressive. Not a bad thing.
40-love. One thing I have noticed from Pinkerton, Jeff, is they are very consistent in the 2 through 6 positions. Give very few points away, and that's a key to success at those lower spots.
Very few unforced errors. 7-1 to the Astros. Concord serving into the wind. Maybe with the wind.
Changing from minute to minute here, Jeff, at the Harvey Smith facility.
It is so tough to play in these conditions.
Salim comes to the net, and a nice passing shot there from Kander.
One of the things we haven't talked about, Dave, is that tennis, I believe, remains the only sport in which the players make their own calls. They're their own judges, their own referees, and 99% of the time the calls are correct.
We've seen a lot of good sportsmanship out there on the court today. No controversies at all. We've seen players smiling, talking with one another on the changeovers. Always good to see. Salim at love 15 gets the second serve in. And that's the backhand there. Following a brief rally. That's a nice deep second serve.
Good return.
And a beautiful
right on the baseline.
Forehand. Sarah Salim getting excellent depth on that forehand and drawing the mistake from the Pinkerton player as a result.
Score is 15-30.
Let's see if Sarah can build on that now. Second serve upcoming. And again, service winner there on the second serve.
Pinkerton player nets that backhand.
Up to 30 all now. That's a good overhead. Nice rally there for both players, and Sarah just pokes the ground stroke long. You might want to direct that approach shot to the backhand of her opponent, given some of these forehand counters from Cantor.
I think we just had a break on court 6. Pinkerton is up 6-4 and serving.
Court 6 taking place on the far side of the Harvey Smith complex. 10 courts in as good a shape as I can remember, Jeff. Wonderful to see. Salim just missing with that big first serve. Gets a second serve in. Drop shot. And
gets the error. Back to deuce.
Moved that ball around nicely, and Cantor made a nice run for it, but poked that forehand just wide. Back to deuce here. Hard-fought game. Sarah Salim continuing to fight hard.
Astro player draws Sarah in and then lobs her, which is a textbook tennis play.
Not easy to do either with the wind blowing against you.
Not at all.
That is a textbook lob winner.
serve was a let.
Salim very consistent with the second serve. And it's got a lot of court here. Nicely done. Using the whole court, Jeff.
She certainly did. Ran her opponent from side to side.
Back to deuce once again now. Let's see if Sarah can get the ad.
Sarah's been looking for a first serve.
And I think I jinxed her with my previous comment, I'm afraid. Ad out now.
Looks like we've got some doubles starting on the first court.
And it's the numbers 1 and 2 players from both schools, Jeff, going at it, as Coyle and Rivard of Pinkerton taking on Hannah and Mickelson of Concord High. They are in the opening game with Coyle serving at that big serve with the wind behind it. Nice serve, placed well to the backhand. And Salim going for the cross-court winner. And
that would be match point.
Good fight there in that closing game, Jeff. Final score 8-1 in Pinkerton's favor. But the match was closer than that, for sure.
Ladies touch rackets in this post-COVID era, as is the case at the end of every tennis match. You congratulate your opponent. Yep.
And we are now picking up doubles action here. So Pinkerton Academy with 5 singles points. The number 6 singles is still being played on the far side of the complex. Marathon match. Pinkerton up 6-4.
This has been a very long game for the Astro server.
Really all the difference in the world between 7-4 and 6-5, Jeff. And that's a tough shot on the part of Pinkerton's Chouinard. Astro player struggling with the wind, and a double fault there is the result.
It must bring the score to add out.
Back to deuce again. Meanwhile, in the number 1 doubles match, Concord High has broken serve in the opening game and leads 1-love with Hannah serving from the far end. And Coyle blisters a forehand off a short ball for the winner. Meanwhile, on the single, did you see who has the ad, Jeff?
I did not.
We will be able to tell momentarily. Nice get from Moffat. And Pinkerton ending up with a point there.
End the game.
That was a very long and contested two-game sequence, Jeff, and both of them ending up in the Astro column for a 7-4 advantage. Meanwhile, in the doubles, Hannah serving, Mickelson at the net. May want to stand from a little bit wider when you're serving in doubles. That gives a lot of room to that big forehand.
Doubles is a game about angles.
Very deep underhand serve can be effective, but the rally won by Pinkerton there. And that gives them the break back, and we are even at 1-all, Jeff, early in this doubles, with the other two doubles yet to begin. Nice anticipation from Coyle.
She runs that short ball down and hits it right back at the Concord player, which is acceptable to do in doubles.
Nice return from Maddie Mickelson. The wind, I think, was getting a hold of that one, Jeff.
Just a factor there.
That's a good deep shot from Nadia Hanna. Went for a very sharp angle. Difficult to execute that with the wind blowing the direction that it was. Brevard with the serve. And Coyle, nice hands by Hanna. Good reflex volley. And Mickelson scrambles well at the back of the court, and that's going to be long. Nice play by the Crimson Tide, Jeff.
Good hands, good depth on the returns. Concord finding itself in the one up, one back doubles scenario, which a lot of singles players on the professional tour play doubles that way. Not very traditional, but effective.
Yeah, it used to be you would see all four players at the net in doubles on a consistent basis. That's no longer the case with the advent of some of the new racket technology, making it a little more difficult for the volleying team.
A rare miss from Coyle at the net.
Coyle, a big presence at the net with that long reach. But I'm not sure if that serve landed in or not. I think we're at deuce here, I would imagine. That's a nice aggressive volley from Hannah on the far side.
Angles it off the court for the winner. Looks like somebody's sunglasses fell, or just some trash came on the court. The court 6 singles play Concord held. Astros are serving at 7-5.
And I'm not sure if they're shaking hands or switching sides here. We're about to find out.
That match has ended.
So I think the Astros got the better of that match, but certainly could have gone either way. Hotly contested. Maddie Mickelson tried to short hop that one, and a little erratic on that backhand. Nice volley winner from Coyle following a well-placed first serve. And after a long game, Pinkerton holds serve for a 2-1 advantage. Number 2 and 3 doubles have not yet begun, giving us some bonus time here, Jeff. And one of your many hats is as the president of the USTA New Hampshire division. And just wondering if you could tell the folks out there about some of the initiatives USTA has going in the Granite State.
Sure, thank you, Dave. Just a little background. The United States Tennis Association nationally is composed of 17 sections around the country. New England is one of them, and New England states compose the New England section. Each state has an association, although Massachusetts has 2, an East and a West. So there are 7 state associations, and we all try and program tennis locally. All our missions are nearly the same: to grow the game of tennis in our respective areas. In New Hampshire, for the past few years, we have been funding efforts by nonprofit organizations that are tennis related. There's a couple of classifications of those organizations. There are National Junior Tennis Leagues, NJTLs, which teach tennis and have an educational component. There are community tennis associations, which teach tennis to adults and kids around the state. And New Hampshire has been active in funding the efforts of those organizations. In fact, Dave, you and I are playing tomorrow in a charitable tournament for one of those organizations. Advantage Kids gives free tennis lessons to more than 1,000 kids statewide. And we're playing in this tournament, which is a fundraiser for them. I don't know if I'll be playing with you or against you, but look forward to either one.
Very much so. Very much so. Advantage Kids, a great organization, does a lot for kids and tennis around the state. AdvantageKids.org, I believe, is the website for any folks who would like to check it out. They will be running some lessons in the capital area, I believe, this summer. Crimson Tide coach Greg Millett, I believe, is a part of that. So some good things on tap in the future for the Concord area. Advantage Kids.
There are a couple of organizations in southern New Hampshire that are doing similar things to what Advantage Kids is doing. The United Diversity Tennis League is an organization out of Hooksett, a charitable organization, a nonprofit obviously, that specializes in giving tennis lessons to adult and children who are new to this country. Although they give lessons to anybody and everybody, that is their main focus. Down a little further in the state, Granite State Kids is one of the oldest organizations in New Hampshire that runs tennis leagues for young kids through teenagers all winter long. Summer represents New Hampshire at New England playoffs oftentimes. And those are the kind of organizations that we are working with. We also support some other charitable tournaments. There's the Burbine Foundation that does a tournament with these Londonderry Astros, Pinkerton Astros, that offer scholarships to some graduating seniors for college. Recently, USTA New Hampshire put on a coaches clinic for high school coaches in the state. We also funded for the first time a Special Olympics tennis program in the state. It'll be the first New England tennis Special Olympics program. And there'll be programs all around New Hampshire leading players to the National Special Olympics. We've got some doubles warming up here on courts 2 and 3 with the number 1 doubles court Astros serving on the far side.
Number 1 player, Amelia Coyle, stepping up to the baseline, ready to serve. Nice return from Hannah. Mickelson established at the net. And
Coyle's forehand, just a lot of depth, a lot of pace, a little bit too much.
Concord High was able to break a big serve of Coyle in the opening game of the match. Let's see if they can do so again here. It's a tough serve there.
Right into the body.
And a hold to serve for the Astros, as Pinkerton extends their lead now to 4-1 here in the 8-game set. Doubles action here at Memorial Field. Let's just quickly recap the singles. Amelia Coyle of Pinkerton defeated Nadia Hanna 8-1. Number 1, Mia Rivard over Maddie Mickelson 8-love. Sophia Kander defeating Sarah Salim 8-1. Bridget Gorey over Vanessa Rice 8-1. Gianna Ganin over Catherine Tewksbury 8-love. And Gabby Chenard over Malia Moffat 8-5, giving Pinkerton all 6 of the singles points. Following the changeover now, Hannah serving, and an extended rally ends with a missed forehand from the Crimson Tide. The wind has really picked up, Jeff, even from what it was at the beginning of the match.
We are standing at the top row of the bleachers at Memorial Field. Every once in a while, you can feel them actually moving, which I must tell you, Dave, is a little bit disconcerting.
Yes, it is, given the age of this facility. But we are still standing at the moment, and so are the Crimson Tide of Concord High, competing hard in the doubles play.
It looks like the second and third doubles teams on both sides may have some substitutes from some girls from outside the top six on their respective teams, which does typically happen when a team has secured 5 points in the singles. They have won the match, and they're giving an opportunity to some other players to play.
That's valuable for the future of your program, and a nice reward for the kids lower down, who I'm sure have been working hard in practice. Pinkerton has kept their number one doubles on the court, probably getting ready for the team tournament, which will begin next week. This is their final tune-up, and Pinkerton likely to host a first-round playoff match next week, Jeff.
That's correct. Before this match, they were not sure who they would be hosting. This team also I wouldn't be surprised if they were invited to the individual state doubles tournament. They look like a very solid doubles team. Pretty aggressive at the net. Nice.
Coyle with the power, and her partner with a good consistent game.
Oh, Hannah comes out on top on that long rally.
Excellent point there. As a number of spectators representing both teams have congregated around that number one doubles match, and deservedly so. Some excellent play out of both teams. Hannah netting the forehand there. And Coyle teeing off on that underhand serve, and gives it a fist pump at the end. She brings some intensity to the court. May see another underhand serve here. Hannah moving well, and Mickelson very wisely let that ball sail long. Must be back to deuce, Jeff.
I think so. Fighting hard. Another punishing return by Coyle.
That first serve missing there. Coming with the second now.
Oh, nice. What a get.
Nicely done from Hannah. And
Hannah
catches the incoming volley on the short hop. Excellent point from the Crimson Tide.
Hannah still fighting every point.
Hannah working very, very hard and got some good quickness. I'm sure she'll improve that serve a little bit over the winter. As she returns next year to that number one position. Oh, bad luck there.
Gets the top of the net and falls back.
Concord has not gotten the rolls today on those net cords. Hannah got a short ball and
Netted it.
like to see her being aggressive with it though, and didn't miss by much. So Pinkerton
5-1 to the Astros.
The wind is really coming seemingly from the other direction, Jeff.
It is all over the place, isn't it?
So Rivard will be serving into the wind, and we'll see how that goes. You can see the toss being blown back several feet, indicative of the difficulty, but she gets the serve in play and ends up winning the point.
Oh.
Maddie Mickelson left that return right in position for Coyle, and she came through with a big put away, extends her hand, indicating that she meant no harm. Nice return there from Hannah. Mickelson aggressive to the ball.
Hannah with another great rundown of a ball. Oh, I think Coyle touched that ball.
Looked like she got a touch on that.
Might have been going out, but doesn't matter. Good return.
That's a nice rally there. Good two-hand backhand, but just netted by the Crimson Tide. Hannah with a good reflex volley, but the wind blows it long. I think we're back to deuce here, Jeff.
I think you're right.
A lot of deuces today. Well, but not this time. It is a hold to serve for the Astros. Pinkerton now leading 6-1 on the number one doubles court.
Ladies having a little conversation at the net, probably apologizing again for what we might call a pen tattoo that Nadia received from Coyle.
I can't stress enough how sportsmanlike this match is being played on all the courts, Jeff. I know some folks on the men's side in adult play who would not have been apologizing on some of those body shots. So kudos to both teams for really being gracious. Nice reflex volley by Sarah Salim on court 2.
They've had some good net play on court 2. Oh, what a nice shot. Oh.
Opportunities for both teams there, and Concord High ends up on the front end.
On the plus side.
Underhand serve, drawing the error. And a hold to serve for Concord High.
Concord coach has definitely taught the girls how to play doubles, as they're very active at the net. Their reflex volleys are terrific, which I suppose you can't teach, but they're not out of position very often.
Clearly some teamwork and coaching has gone into these doubles combinations. Greg Millette, according to the kids, coaches an aggressive style, likes to see them dictating play, and that can pay off on the doubles court. As we see there, the volleyer looking for the ball, you really like to see that, Jeff. Over on court one, Maddie Mickelson serving at 1-6. Bard with a nice driven return. Maddie with a great angle. Boy, a good point there on the part of both teams. Point. Concord High just maybe not quite able to end the point when they're in the aggressive position.
This Astro team is well built. It is strong.
A lot of depth.
A lot of depth. Talked to the coach right before the match. There are 14 girls on the team, and the top 12 are fighting for those top spots. They're all very, very competitive, very close in skill.
Certainly the more competition you have between players on the ladder, that just pushes everybody to get better because you don't want to get left behind. And Jerry Rosado, veteran mentor for the Astros, has the luxury of that type of depth this year. Coyle now serving on court one and put some heat on that delivery. That's a good cutoff there by the net player on court two.
Right.
If I'm not mistaken, these are both substitutes for the Astros, but clearly well schooled. Big serve again from Coyle. Mickelson gets it back well. Hannah with a nice deep volley. And the point ends in Pinkerton's favor. But again, you really like to see Hannah authoritative with the volley and looking for the ball at the net.
Very aggressive. Always trying to cut things off in the middle of the court.
Big serve there, nicely returned, and a powerful forehand.
That's serve +1.
Coyle making it look easy. It is definitely not the case on such a windy day to serve that effectively. Really impressive, Jeff. Second serve deep in the box. Mickelson with a topspin forehand. Driven backhand now two. And Hannah was looking for the poach, and Coyle read that. Went down the line with the passing shot winner, and
the match.
Believe that's all she wrote on court one. As Coyle and Rivard have run off 8 consecutive games after being broken in the opener. 8-1 for Pinkerton as they go up 7-love in the team score, with numbers 2 and 3 doubles still being played. And we'll take a look now at the lower doubles courts. Concord High's Sarah Salim serving on court 2. And a nice volley there. Again, Pinkerton just with that one more ball back, drawing the error. Vanessa Rice on court 3 put some oomph on that forehand, but was so deep into the court that didn't quite clear the net.
Great serve on court 2. Draws the return error.
Again, Rice with a big forehand. May want to be just a little more cautious with her placement on such a windy day. Nice play there. And Pinkerton, that was not an easy volley to make. They did it well, placed it very far back in the court. Nice serve from Rice here. Powers a forehand. Excellent rally from all the players.
Back and forth net play.
And a spectacular angled winner from the Astros finally closes out the point. That was excellent doubles there. All 4 players in close proximity. That ends in Pinkerton's favor. And the Astros up 4-1, I believe. Meanwhile, on the number 2 court, Sarah Salim with some aggressive net play, and Pinkerton unable to counter. Nicely done. Good serve there from Pinkerton. Pinkerton Astros, the largest high school in the state of New Hampshire, over 4,000 students. Gives Coach Jerry Rosado a nice recruiting base. Nice volley into the open court, well placed.
Right. Split the 2 defenders in that case, the 2 Concord players, which is textbook doubles. Exactly what you want to do.
And that brings about the changeover on court 2. And I believe Pinkerton up 4-1 on this court as well. So the same score on both courts. Looking over to the coaches at the back of the court. And Greg Millette going to come over and impart some wisdom to the troops. They're getting really impressed with these Concord High girls wanting that instruction, even with a minus score line. I remember in my coaching days, kids got behind. It sometimes was difficult to drag them to that fence, Jeff.
Remember those days well. I will say, though, Dave, my experience of assisting you on the tennis court as a coach in a couple of different high schools, there weren't many of those days where your kids fell behind. You had some great players, most of whom were coachable.
Had to work a little harder on that with some people than others, but I was blessed to have a lot of great kids and a lot of able assistant coaches. Really the secret to any success we enjoy. So thank you. Vanessa Rice looking for the ball at the net and gets a deep volley which her opponent cannot return on court 3.
She's been doing that the entire match. She has her nose right on the net.
Rice playing aggressively with a big forehand and strong volleys. There she's got another one. And this time might have wanted to go the other way with that one, but kept the point in play and forced Pinkerton to hit an excellent shot to win it. And court 2, big return from the ad court player of the Astros. We're kind of picking up a little bit of each of these matches, Jeff. Salim with a good stab volley. Oh, but a deep counter from Pinkerton. An excellent play for both Crimson Tide players there.
Some more good net play at the third doubles position.
I apologize to the fans out there. We had some substitutions, I believe, from both teams for the doubles. I don't know the names of every player involved, but we will certainly report the action as diligently as we can nonetheless. Pinkerton Academy up 7-love in the overall team score, but Concord High fighting hard on both the second and third doubles courts in their season finale. Nice placement again from the Astro player with that volley going into the open court. Anytime you can make your opponent run to return a ball, Jeff, you're in good position, especially on such a windy day.
Absolutely. Good strong serve from the Astro player.
Pinkerton has now gone up 6-1 on Concord High on third doubles, but Tide's still smiling, which is a positive sign. Kids have a good spirit about this team, and were telling me today they are still encouraged, still happy about the improvement they're making, and that's a big step, because you want to keep that interest throughout the summer and have the kids continue improving. Nice placement on the serve. Volley a little bit timid, though. Let's Concord back in the point.
Strong ground stroke from the back of the court. Just too much for Concord. They'll learn. They'll get better.
Concord High has integrated a lot of new players into the team this year, many of whom had no previous tennis experience, and certainly room to build. They will only lose 2 players next year. Their numbers 4 and 5 players, Rice and Tewksbury. So they'll return their top 3, and that is a good base from which to start. And Salim getting her opponent pulled wide. Couldn't reach the ball with 2 hands, had to take one off, and that draws a mistake. Good serve, but the Estro player let a makeable volley go by, and her teammate seemed a little bit surprised and missed the ensuing ball. Good wide serves from Pinkerton. Salim with a nice scramble, and again draws the mistake on the half volley.
It's a tough ball to come back.
Looking at a second serve now from Pinkerton.
I think it's Concord's ad.
Oh, a good deep second serve. Salim pokes it into the open court for the winner. A nice 1-2 combination there, Jeff. And Concord High with the game. Draws to within 2-5. Now that's a beautiful ball. Well played point on both sides there, and ends in Concord High's favor. Yeah. Nicely done. Tide really showing some spirit here in the doubles. Sarah Salim now serving for the Crimson Tide on court 2. Score is 2-5, so a hold here would draw the Crimson within range. Rice with a baseball type backhand there, narrowly missing. Pinkerton missing the volley with a nice low ball from Concord. The Astro player might have been well advised to hit that ball before it dropped below the level of the net. Good net play from Concord High on court 3. A little too much heat on that last ground stroke. Gives Pinkerton the point. And we are at the changeover now on court 3 doubles. Concord High recording another game, Jeff.
Yeah, 2-7. They're hanging tough. Good experience. They will take something from this.
Astros up 7-2 and serving on the near end at Harvey Smith Memorial Complex here in Concord. Rice with a big return, but called long.
Just long.
Just long. Had a good cut at it, though. No shame in that. That's a beautiful backhand return there.
Nice net play on court 2.
And we have a final in the third doubles match with Pinkerton winning 8-2. So just one match yet to be completed here, and that is number 2 doubles. As the Pinkerton and Concord third doubles players coming off the court.
Strong return.
Sarah Salim really gets her whole body weight into that forehand return, Jeff, and a strong return, but unable to convert after that. And that brings us to a switch of sides here at Memorial Field. And Pinkerton up 6-3 now. So a competitive second doubles match. And we'll look to tighten things even further here as Concord will be playing from the near side. Really be able to hit out into the wind.
They will be hitting into the wind.
Let's see how that goes. Heavy underhand serve. And play continuing. And ends up in the Astros' favor. Excellent down the line return from Pinkerton, and
caught the Concord player pinching the middle.
Well, you like to see players cutting off that middle, but always have to be aware of the down the line return as an option. This time a big cross-court return, and the point goes in Pinkerton's favor. I think we got love 40 here, Jeff. Second serve now. And Salim bravely defending that volley. Short serve into the wind is always difficult. Puts you on the defensive, and that proved to be the case there, giving Pinkerton the break of serve and a 7-3 advantage at number 2 doubles.
Good returning serve. Nice deep return. One's gonna sail.
You get that ball caught up in the wind, you just never know. And when it's blowing the way it is today, Jeff.
Second serve coming up.
Excellent serve out wide.
Nice return.
And gets the point. Crimson Tide players touching rackets here in recognition of the well-constructed point. Serve.
Nice serve.
Hits the sideline. Salim recovering nicely. Oh, the net cord once again going Pinkerton's way. They say those even out, Jeff, but I don't know if that's been the case today.
Concord not benefiting as the home team.
Pinkerton up 30-15, and the point begins in a one-up, one-back fashion for both teams. A lot of consistent ground strokes. And Pinkerton volleying to the open court for the winner. I believe we're at match point, Jeff.
I think so.
Pinkerton up 40-15, 7-3 in the final doubles match of the day. On the varsity level, we do have some exhibition matches still on court as well. Serve goes out wide. Salim with the return. And a big forehand winner.
Crushing winner.
And that is finishing off the match in style for the Pinkerton Astros, giving them an 8-3 triumph in number 2 doubles. So that is all she wrote here at Memorial Field. Just to quickly recap and get some final thoughts, Jeff. Number 1 singles, Nadia Hanna was defeated by Amelia Coyle, 8-1. Number 2.
Although that score was 8-1, those points were much, much closer through that entire match. And Maddie fought hard the entire time, never gave up. That did not look like an 8-1 match.
On the number 2 singles court, Concord's Maddie Mickelson also battled in a match that was closer than the score indicated. Love 8 against Mia Rivard of the Astros.
Mia just had a little bit too much firepower and a little bit more too much consistency today. It is something for all the Concord players to try and emulate.
Number 3 singles, junior Sarah Salim was out there a real long time. Ended up losing 8-1 to Sophia Kander of Pinkerton.
Not the closest score of the day, but maybe the closest match of the day. That was an incredibly long singles match. A lot of hard-fought points.
Number 4 singles, senior Vanessa Rice going down 8-love to Bridget Gorey.
Bridget was had a big height advantage, and she just dominated play. It was a tough matchup today.
Number 5 singles, Catherine Tewksbury in her finale for the Crimson Tide, losing 8-love to Gianna Ganin.
Gianna seemed to handle the windy conditions a little bit better today, which might have been the difference in that match.
Number 6 singles across the way, Concord's Malia Moffat in a very close match ended up falling 8-5 to Pinkerton's Gabby Chouinard.
That match was well fought. Every point seemed like it was do or die. Those girls traded blows back and forth for over an hour.
So that gave Pinkerton all 6 of the singles matches. In the doubles, number 1 doubles was 8-1 for Pinkerton, but again, some very long points in games.
Athleticism on both sides, some great net play by the Concord players. Just a little bit too much firepower from the Astro side.
Number 2 doubles, the final court to be completed. Pinkerton 8, Concord 3, but again, Concord with a good fight out there.
They certainly didn't give up. Also, a lot of good net play back and forth. Sometimes all 4 players at the net at once, and quick hands, and also nothing to be ashamed of on that court.
Number 3 doubles, Concord losing 8-2, but once again, some big hitting on display.
Concord showed some spirit out there. They were certainly overmatched on that court, but they did not play like they were fearful of losing. They gave it their all.
So Pinkerton Academy ends the regular season at 9-5. Pinkerton likely to be in the number 7 position, meaning they will have a preliminary match at home next week as they begin state tournament play, and certainly a good tune-up for Jerry Rosado and his kids.
That sure was. Pinkerton made the trip north today. Windy conditions. They showed they can play in some very adverse tennis conditions. And they have something to take home with them with that.
And Concord High closing out the season with 1 win. But we saw Vanessa Rice and Catherine Tewksbury honored for their careers here with the Crimson Tide. And Coach Greg Millett, always one to stress process and improvement, will welcome his other players back next year, and certainly they will be building in the off season, running some programs with Advantage Kids, and a real nice group of kids, Jeff, and certainly brighter days are ahead for the Crimson Tide.
I want to thank you, Dave, for inviting me here today. Appreciate that. It was great to see some high school tennis, and it looks like Concord does have some building to do, but they can take some positives from this today. A lot of heart, a lot of sportsmanship out there.
So that's going to do it for us here today. Signing off from Memorial Field, the Harvey Smith Tennis Complex, I'm Dave Page for Jeff Siegel and Jake Dusso. Have a great night, everybody.